Welcome to the Coaches Show on 90.1 KBPK. I am Corey Nalen, a.k.a. Mark Pavlovich's love child, Ryan Osborne's stunt double. And we had a busy week on the campus of Fullerton College as we got through football. And we've got some volleyball. Exciting matches. Fullerton beat, who'd they beat? Golden West College, 3-0.
Hello, and we're here with Deanna Schneier, the assistant volleyball coach here at Fullerton College. Deanna, great win just now, winning in 3 sets. What does it feel like coming out winning in these strong, tightly contested sets?
It feels incredible. We come in the gym every day and we work hard. We've had a rough start to the season. Our roster size continues to shrink because of injuries, academic ineligibility, and tonight everything just came together. It was absolutely incredible to feel the girls' energy. Nothing ever let down. The girls backed themselves and their teammates up the entire match, and to have it finally show up on the court as a team at the right time in a sweep in this moment in conference, it's incredible.
Yeah, definitely, if we look at the first set, started off a little slow, but there's a specific point that I think where the momentum started to change. Right after Golden West got their 20th point on a very intense rally back-to-back, the team put their foot in the ground, stood tall, and only allowed Golden West to score another 4 points, able to win the set 26-24. What does it feel like when your team is able to come back after a deficit like that?
In practice every day, it's something that we work on, being able to be resilient and be able to push back. So being able to see that translate and in that moment, be able to not only steal and take the momentum, but then carry it through to the finish line. Mm-hmm. It feels like all of our hard work is finally paying off and the girls are able to see the results. We put in the work every single day, and sometimes we see the outcome and sometimes we have to wait a little bit longer, and tonight we finally got to see it all come together and celebrate together.
You talk about momentum, a big part of any sport, but I would have to say volleyball, probably momentum might be the most important. How important is it to not only get momentum when the other team has it, but also keep momentum? What are some things you're telling your team to keep the momentum?
Well, in terms of momentum, it depends on the energy, right? Whether it's the other team and their energy and how we're able to respond, whether it's on the court or whether it's our ability to support each other. As a coach for momentum, it's difficult to coach through the momentum because it's such a felt experience for the players on the court. You can encourage them, you can tell them that you trust them, you can give them the tools and the resources, but in those moments, it's something that really comes deep down from themselves, and that's something that we practice every single day, is being able to come back in those moments and push when we need to. We watch them every single day in practice, show up, and really work through those moments. We do drills that are specifically designed for that. So when we get in these really contentious moments, it's sometimes easy depending on the momentum and the match and all that, but we came out healthy and we were able to really pull forward and have all of the momentum that we've been creating in practice scenarios show up on the court.
And how intense are practices, obviously, to try and get that experience for those momentum situations that you're talking about? Obviously, practice has to be very intense. What goes on during practice when you're trying to simulate these games?
So a lot of what we're doing with the athletes is a lot of competitive drills where we're putting them in scenarios where in order for them to earn points, they have to do very specific things. So we're incentivizing different plays, running different routes and putting players in different positions. We're essentially creating an environment where they are going after each other and they can only win under certain circumstances. So same thing in a match when we tell them, or when Nilu is telling them and giving them the instructions of, hey, you need to hit this and this, they're already practiced, they're already so comfortable with being told what to hit, what to do, and how to read it for themselves, that when we get on the court, it can translate. So it's a lot of in-house competition, and the thing that I really love about this team is that they love to compete against each other. Everybody is going after each other, they're having fun, they're doing it joyfully, talking a little bit of smack here and there, but it's a joyful competition. It's something that they do and they love every single day. It's something that I love about this team.
Yeah, definitely. When you think of a competitive mindset, that's not something you can teach, and it's definitely a mental aspect. So I want to kind of touch on the book that you wrote, The Winning Element, talking about the mental aspect of sports. What are some things you talk about in your book that you translate into coaching?
So everything in the book is about the interconnection between the mind, body, and beyond, right? So as an athlete, first and foremost, you have to take care of your hydration, your nutrition, your movement, and your recovery. Those are all the physical aspects. On the mental side, your confidence, your ability to control your energy management, your heart rate, your ability to respond to stress, visualization and self-talk, so what we're saying to ourselves, our body language, how we're responding, and also resilience. So every day we're working on those individual pieces, and we've instilled this in them since the beginning of the season, where we're having them take responsibility and ownership of these aspects for themselves so that they can then serve the team as a greater whole. So first and foremost, it starts with the individual. You know, when we get into team scenarios, we're talking about body language. We're talking about how we're communicating. We're talking about, confidence. We're talking about how we handle stressful situations. Every single day we do breathing exercises. We end with a meditation or a body scan or something that's getting them into a state where their nervous system is more controlled. So when we're in a contentious situation like we were tonight, we're able to stay calm. We're able to not react. We're able to respond. And we're able to really share our gifts, which in this scenario is on the court, which it was a great time to do tonight.
Yeah, definitely. Being a former athlete myself, I don't think I've ever had a coach that really emphasizes the mental aspect and talks about the things that you're talking about to me right now. So what would you say, or how are you able to see what you're teaching and what you're doing about the mental aspect move on to the court side of things?
That's a really interesting and a tough question to answer. One, I'm getting really good feedback from the athletes. For example, we went bowling. This is like a bowling example, off the court example, but completely relevant. I was watching one of my athletes bowl, and I was and gutter balls, so many gutter balls. And I'm asking her, I'm like, what are you focusing on? And she's like, the pins. And I was like, don't focus on the pins, focus on the arrows before. And she goes, oh, okay. She bowled like strike immediately. So a lot of times the conversations that we're having in practice are, what are you focused on? As coaches, we say focus, 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 but that's a really nebulous term that's a little bit harder to really work through. So asking them questions like, what are you focused on? What is your intention in this moment? And really breaking it down from, instead of the outcome, like, yes, I want to get a kill. Okay, but how are we going to get that kill? Is it our footwork? Is it our timing? Is it our contact point? What's our focal point? So being able to have those conversations during practice gives me the feedback that the mental aspects, what we're putting into practice, is really paying off.
Well, thank you. This has been Coach Deanna Schneier. Congratulations on the big win tonight.
Thank you. Go Hornets.
Hi, I'm joined here with Corey Burke and Ariana Islas, who fresh off the court after a fantastic win in 3 sets against Golden West College. Ladies, how does it feel winning in not only winning the match, but also winning in 3 sets in such a tightly contested game? Corey, I'll start with you.
Honestly, it felt awesome. I remember the first match, we were kind of down a little bit, and the Golden West had a bit of a lead on us, but I think it felt so good because the way that we fought back and the difference in the lead and how we came back from that, I think that was honestly just amazing. And the positivity and the energy that we had today was just I think it's honestly the best that we've ever played, honestly.
And Corey talks about the momentum starting off in that first set. You guys were down at first. How does it feel setting the tone for the next sets, able to come back from that deficit?
Honestly, someone who's on the sidelines, I'm injured for this season, so seeing my team play from the sidelines, I was a little down at first because I was like, oh my gosh, we're getting down on ourselves, and since I was reffing, I wasn't able to cheer, but once we started picking up that high up momentum, I realized we were getting great passes and great digs, which led to great sets, which led to our amazing hitters hitting every single ball in and at the right perfect spots, which I feel gave all of us the energy that we needed. Even the stands were cheering for us, who are on our side, just giving us like great momentum, great energy, and I feel like we were able to execute the game and finish in 3 sets.
And we're going to keep it over here. You know, you talk about you're injured, out for the year, sitting on the bench. Personally, I've been in that same situation. It's definitely tough having to sit and watch your teammates, but what has it been like, and what have your teammates been to kind of encourage you and help you get through the season?
Honestly, they all just come up to me and they just either hug me and they tell me that they rather just have me get better. So next season, since I am a freshman, that I can go back to the court and I can play better than what I originally started with. They also just have been super kind, super sweet. They always like text me like, "Hey, how's your appointments?" Like everything was just great, and I still feel like I'm part of the team even if I am out for the season. So.
Awesome. And Corey, tons of aces in this game. What does it feel like as a player when your teammate is able to get an ace or even just a great serve that sets the other team off on the wrong foot?
Honestly, I think when our team gets aces, it's honestly one of the best feelings ever, because it's like, even though we want to set up that play to score our point, it's like when you get an ace, it's like it kind of saves, like it's almost like saving energy from everybody, because it's like we didn't even have to set up anything to get that point. So it was just like kind of that quick, if that makes sense. But yeah, it feels great.
And, you know, I just talked to your assistant coach, Deanna Schneier, very big on the mental side of things. What can you say that she's done for you and your team in terms of the mental side to improve your game?
Coach D, honestly, I think she's a really big staple to our team. She's there. She's always there for each and every one of her players. And honestly, like mentally, I think I wouldn't have been able to recover back from my injury as well if it weren't from her. Recently, I had to be out a couple of games, and like I would just be able to call her, text her, and she would always be checking up on me, like, you know, what do you need? You know, you can get these vitamins, you can get these supplements, and like she's always just saying encouraging words, and it really boosts my confidence and everyone else's confidence as well. I think her main thing is she just wants to be here for us and see us do great, and it helps a lot.
And Ariana, you know, when you look at your team, being on the sideline, you get to watch a lot, but I'm sure you also get to notice things that maybe you might not if you were playing. What are some things that you notice that your teammates are doing well and that are kind of keeping you guys in the game when maybe you're in a lower deficit?
Well, as someone who's on the sidelines, and during this game I was reffing, but on the other games that I wasn't reffing and I was sitting like on the bench with my coaches, whenever we'd have timeouts and huddles, I'd go, like when we're in the huddle together, I'd go up to my teammates and be like, "Hey, left back's open," or like, "Hey, like I need the middles like to go straight into the donut," or like, "You guys need to like see where the open corners are," and they all like thank me for like the advice that I give them, and then the coaches would also like second off that and be like, "Yes, like this is also open, and this is also like what we need to do." And then once we get it into like our teammates' heads and everything, like it just clicks inside of them and they execute it like right where we need it to be. And honestly, like that has just been our biggest thing for all of them to score points, because everybody here is coachable and everybody here listens. So.
Awesome. And this is a question for both of you guys. Big win tonight in conference, going 2-2. What are you guys' thoughts going in the future and as we go to finish conference?
Honestly, I'm excited. I'm literally excited. Like, as I want to be like the biggest cheerleader for my team, and I want to be like the biggest like encourager. And honestly, the next game that we have this Wednesday, we're gonna absolutely kill it. We're gonna do great.
And Ariana's excited. Cordy, how do you feel about the rest of the season?
Honestly, just like Ariana, I am extremely excited about it. I think this really gave our team some confidence, especially going into conference now and having a great win like this. It just feels amazing, and I'm sure everybody can agree. Yeah, I think if we can play like this for the rest of our season, then we'll be great.
And once again, this is Corey Burke and Ariana Islas. Congrats again, ladies, on the win tonight, and good luck on the rest of the season.
Thank you.
Hello, I'm here with Miley Tabon, defensive specialist here at Fullerton College. Miley, big win tonight once again. What does it feel like coming fresh off that win?
I think it's really refreshing because the past few games we have been taking some losses, and so it's like a really good like oomph, I guess. Like it's really refreshing to like win, and it's like, okay, now let's just keep going with this momentum and this energy onto the next game. Yeah.
And you talk about keeping momentum, not the best start, but what do you think this win specifically does for your team down the line?
Even though we did win and we had a rocky start, I think for like now we learned that like, oh, let's like fix our errors in the beginning, or like let's just be more consistent and try to lessen our errors, and just like I guess not fully trust on energy. Like we had to depend on our skill and our stuff to like besides our energy, because if we lose our energy and that affects our game, that's not really good.
Definitely. And, you know, being a defensive specialist, how important is it for you to kind of know or get a sense of where you think the ball is going to be going?
Oh, I think it's really important. Like you have to read the hitters and like where their shoulders are, and like I think that gives you like a head start or like an extra like second to get the ball. And I mean, just reaction like purely can't really. It does help, but like just reading where the hitter is going and like trying to just cover like where the blockers are, it helps you a lot.
And what did you see in Golden West hitters tonight, that whether they were doing well or areas of weakness?
I noticed that the outside, she would either hit super angle or she would hit more like line-ish. So I knew since it was angle, then Sam would get it, and then so I just kind of shifted a little bit to the right to cover like that line area. And whenever there was just like a hole in the block, I would just try to cover that. And I think most of the shots from like the outside, if anything, they would be kind of like rolled, and so it was like a little easier to get. So.
And, you know, you're talking about, you say this is a player tends to do this. How big is it to know your opponent's tendencies?
I think it's important. It does help to watch like previous videos and like last year's film and stuff. You just start to catch on to how the hitters play, and definitely like at the end of like the first set, you'll be like, okay, they tend to hit this way, or if they score off a point, they're more likely to do it again. So yeah.
And now, what are some things you believe your team does well as a whole?
Ooh, that's a good question. I think energy. I think we really bounce off of our energy, and we can like be like, come on, let's go. And our blocks, I think, are okay. Not to be biased, but I think our defense is pretty good, and our aces, our serves are really good. We do have our blocks can be like hit or miss. Sometimes we can be good. Sometimes it'll be like holes, and then it'll be difficult to pick it up. But and that's good. We do, as a back row, we do call what spots are open. So I think we're still working on it, but like executing where we call what spots are open is really good. So yeah.
And when we talk about blockers, how does it make you feel to have 2 or 3 great blockers up front that kind of maybe let you ease down a little bit and realize, okay, my blockers got our backs?
It's really reassuring because, like, how do I put this? If there's like a hole and like it just stresses me out because I'm like, dude, I have so much like court to cover, and it's just like it's really difficult. So just knowing that there's this like a certain like angle that's covered, I can like go cover somewhere else, and that just like oh, I can focus my energy into this area rather than this and this part of the court, you know.
And you talk about team's energy. How important is it for the team to be energized, whether you're down, whether you're up, to keep, you know, the foot on the gas pedal?
Oh, it's really important because sometimes our energy can start turning negative, and we'd be like, dude, why would we do that, you know? But so I think, yeah, it's really important. Like, we had to keep it at least neutral or consistent and just keep going up from that. Like, just if we dip down, we just have to, like, get out of our heads and just, like, snap out of it and be like, no, we're not going to think like that. We got to take off.
And would you say if your team has tons and tons of energy, is it even able to maybe make up for some mistakes that your team might be playing?
I think so. It takes the pressure off of mistakes, and it helps like other people get out of their heads, and it just makes them like have short-term memory and forget about their past mistakes and just move on to the next round.
And, I want to talk a little bit about the game today. And if we look at the second set, in my opinion, you guys' most dominant set, when you get your servers acing the ball and, you get winning the tough rallies, not necessarily winning every single point, but winning the points that matter the most. What can you talk about that second set?
Ooh, it really like helps jumpstart, and it's really satisfying. And so you going back to alpha energy, that helps us become more motivated to win the next one. And it's okay, let's go, let's bang some more balls, let's get this going. And I don't know, it's just really fun and enjoyable. I don't know.
And starting off 2-0, how important is it to not settle, so to make sure you finish off that third set?
Ooh, that's a good question. I think, yeah, in the third set we did kind of settle and kind of did struggle. And to be honest, I'm not really sure how to answer that question. But I think, I don't know, we just have to be hey, let's do what we did in the second set. This is what I told my teammates. I was okay, let's not do what we did the first set. Let's come do what we did in the second set. So, and we kind of got there. We started doing a little better. So that was good. And yeah.
Yeah, definitely talking about that third set. Seems like you guys were, once you gained the lead, you guys kept the lead the entire game. Was there a point where you felt okay, we definitely got this in the bag?
No, I don't think, I try not to think like that, because if we think, oh, we got in the bag, I don't want to start settling down and playing down to their level. I want to be hey, it's not over yet. Let's keep fighting. Let's keep doing better. Let's keep, lessening our errors, and let's keep fixing things, learning about their habits and whatnot.
So thank you, Miley. Congrats on the win tonight, and good luck on the rest of your season.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
So you just heard from the volleyball team on campus over at Fullerton College. Now we're here at the practice field. Plenty of people behind us, just like Corey Nayland, because we are going to talk to the running backs for the Fullerton College Hornets as they get set for El Camino. So right now we're being joined by Tyrell Green, otherwise known as T. Now, T, a couple weeks ago on the broadcast, you guys were looking at maybe a 4th and 4. Game was on the line, very simply, against a top 4 team in the state. You got up to the line of scrimmage, bounced it to the outside. What was your thought process when you got up to the line of scrimmage initially and got stopped?
Man, I was just thinking the game's on the line. It's either now or never. I got to pull this through for my team. I just felt like I needed to do it, and it got done.
Now, when you talk about getting things done, I'll go all the way back to the start of the season. When you play Santa Ana, first time that you get on the field against a historic rival, you had one of the best games that we've seen in recent memory from a running back at Fullerton College. How does it feel to get the season started against a rival and have a good game like that?
Man, it feels pretty good. Also, coming off my injury from last year, and I couldn't play the rest of the season, so it felt good to just come back game 1 and make a big impact for my team. I felt real good about that, and I'm just looking forward to the rest of the season.
It's interesting that you mentioned the injury, because last year when we saw you before the injury, you had that flash where it looked like brilliance, but you just didn't have the opportunity the rest of the way.
Right.
What was it like going through that process, mentally preparing yourself for this upcoming season?
I just knew that it's always been in me. I knew that once I got my opportunity, I would fulfill it. And it was really heartbreaking to get hurt, but I just knew that I had to come back 10 times harder than I did last year.
When you take a look at the running game at the college level, very different than the high school level, and a lot of people aren't used to the speed. You got your teammates behind you and in front of the camera as well. Kind of giving it to you a little bit, but it also speaks to the chemistry that I want to go into. What's it like having that chemistry at a college level versus a high school level?
Man, having that chemistry with my team is everything. It's everything. These guys are one of the coolest people I met. And I'm from far away. I'm from Baltimore. That's real far from here. So coming out here, connecting with these guys, it means a lot to me. Especially when they bring me in and they make me feel comfortable, and we all connect on the field.
When you talk about being from Baltimore, going all the way from one side of the country to the other, what was one of the culture shocks for you that you had coming here to Fullerton?
Man, it just felt good just looking at palm trees every day for me. Looking at palm trees, good weather all the time. Man, I couldn't ask for nothing better.
In this Garrett Campbell offense, what is your favorite play to run personally?
Rover, power. Power is my favorite play. I feel like that's our bread and butter play. That's our bread and butter play.
It's interesting you mentioned that because you often, especially at the college level, when I talk to running backs, they always talk about, you know what, if I can get a play that gets me out into open space, that's when I have a lot of fun. But you talk about going right up to the line of scrimmage and making your own hole.
Yeah.
What is the difference, or actually the difference of mindset for you when you're coming up to the line of scrimmage?
Well, my mindset is touchdown every time. So I just like seeing that open space, especially like getting through the line, seeing open space and just knowing that I have the ability to make people miss. That's just one of my main things. Like before the play even starts, I'm already thinking touchdown, touchdown, touchdown. So, you know, when I just see space, I just create opportunities to get yards, make touchdowns, make plays.
Last year, Brandon Rankins, we talked to him a lot. He was a guy that would prefer to go into contact, like to go into guys as a runner. That was his style. How would you characterize your style?
Man, I'm both. I like contact and I got speed. So, you know, I like both. I got a little bit of both in me.
Considering that you watched last season, you take a look at this season, a lot of very similar opponents that you got to see last year. Is there anyone on the calendar that you're kind of circling going forward?
No, not really. I just line up and play. I don't really worry about my opponent too much. Because once you get in your head worrying about your opponent, I don't know, I just feel like it changed the game. So I just go in there every week, not worried about who I'm playing, just do my assignment.
When you talk about assignments, one thing that I've always talked to with this coaching staff is college running backs need to learn how to block, which they're not really shown too often in high school. What was it like learning how to block at a collegiate level?
Learning how to block, Coach Campbell always told me that was one of the main keys. Like, you needed to know how to block in order to be successful in this offense. So I feel like that's a really important part in our role as a running back.
Considering that you have a quarterback who has the ability to be mobile, a guy like Josh, how difficult is it for a running back to be able to look at an incoming rush and pick up that last guy?
It can be hard sometimes because it's like a quick moment, so it's instant. But you just stick your nose in there, get physical, everything go good.
You know what? We look forward to seeing you on Saturday, getting physical with El Camino.
Yep.
Thank you, man. We appreciate it.
Hello, I am Javier Chiron, and today I am interviewing Garnett Davis, running back for Fullerton College. Garnett, you yourself have not played many games, but let's get into this. What are some good characteristics for a running back?
First, I would say you got to be tough, you got to be able to think quick, and then you got to be accountable for your teammates and your offensive linemen, and just being able to be accountable on every play.
All right. So let's talk a little bit about accountability.
Mm-hmm.
When things are going tough, in a situation such as third down, what do you usually do? Do you tend to go to the outside or do you cut into the inside?
Third down is really just about getting the first down. So wherever that defense gives me, I'm trying to take and get the first down for my team and go from there.
All right. And there's a lot of stuff that involves within the third down. It can either be a play action pass or it could be a running pass. How good are you with your hands?
I feel like I'm pretty solid. I don't drop too many passes out here, so I feel like I got some pretty good hands on me. So I feel like I could be able to get the third down.
All right, I got you. Footwork. You guys really have to be superb at another level of footwork, because if you want to try to make the cutback, you got to have superb footwork. If you want to catch and juke out of defender, you got to have superb footwork. How often do you work on footwork?
Every day. We would do footwork every day here at Fullerton. Coach Sober does a good job mixing up the drills. Just making sure your feet staying choppy and just being able to make those right cuts at the right time and, make big plays.
Now, we were talking about footwork, but that's one big role of the characteristics that a running back needs.
Yes, sir.
What other ones are there?
I would say being tough is definitely one. You have to be tough. You have to be accountable, like I said earlier. You have to be able to think quick on your feet. And you just have to overall just be able to take over and, I would say put the team on your back. All
right. So putting the team on your back, you need to have a brilliant mentality.
Yes, sir.
What's your mentality once you step onto that field?
Really just me and my teammates being the best players on the field. that's what I'm trying to hold up to that standard.
All right.
At all times. Trying to be the best player on the field.
All right. When you become your best player, what do you characterize as a great game?
First, a win, a team win. Obviously, it's all about the team, so a great team win. And then just doing what you got to do individually, and then, going beyond what the expectations of the coach or the team, and a win and just going and leaving everything out there. That's a great game.
All right. You leave everything out there, you leave your soul, you leave your blood, everything. But what comes to mind when I hear leaving everything is playing every single position you got. You can either play the play action, you can either play the pickup blitz. When do they tend to put you into the game?
Most definitely, it's really just been a rotation. We've just been working that and just, seeing how everything's been going throughout the season and going from there. But just waiting on opportunities.
All right. So you're talking about opportunities so far. You haven't played much, only 3 games and probably 9 yards so far. But I know with that mentality you got, you're gonna you're gonna come back out of this.
Yes, sir. Most definitely.
All right, man. Well, it's a pleasure to talk to you, Garnett.
Nice to meet you. Thank you for the interview.
Best of luck in the next game.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Welcome to the Coaches Show on 90.1 KBPK. Well, the old guy is back. You had Corey Nalen, you had Ryan Osborne, you had Javier, and now you got the old guy and a gentleman that I get to talk to all the time, the assistant head coach and the defensive coordinator, Brian Crooks. And Brian, we look at this season, it's a young offense and a young defense. And when it comes to young defenses, there's thousands of mistakes out there. And I've already talked about it. The difficulty with youngsters, what don't they get on the defensive side that you try to tell them to do when they're on the field?
They need to play team defense, team offense. It's trusting the coaches to put them in the right spot. And, the defense and offense take care of itself if they do what they're supposed to do. And they're young and they want to make plays and show their skills, but when they go outside of the scheme, that's what hurts us.
You got
one more, Mark. Only one. Make it good.
Oh, man, listen to this. Well, I should say, are you going to win this weekend? But that's too easy, isn't it? I've got to ask you, when you're standing on the sideline, you just tell me what happens. That a youngster goes out there and you put them in the right position. You put them in the right position. And then they go out and do their own thing. And like in the Cerritos game, you end up losing the game. What's your reaction as a coach to that young player like a Corey Nalen who thinks he's smarter than you?
Go watch film and show them exactly what's going on and show them that if you were in that spot, you'd have made the play. And that's the spot I'd put you in. You went here and did your own thing. That's why you didn't make the play. So that's what we did against after Cerritos, that we sat down and we did a lot more walkthrough stuff. Just walk through, show fits, show where everyone's at, show where the safety's fitting, show where the DN's fitting, show where the tackle's fitting, show where the backer's fitting. See everybody has a gap. And then go from there. So you got to trust your teammates that they're going to be in their gap. It's all gap control defense. So once we started getting them trusting a little bit in the Candy, you saw the difference in the Candy's game. They kind of knew where their fit was and where the defense was going to make them make plays. So it's just getting those young guys to trust the defense, and because they all want to make plays and get their scholarship and get their film. But if they do the defense right, they're going to get better film and they get better offers because they look better on film.
Talking about looking good in film, you've got 2 good-looking guys like us on film right here. Brian Crooks, the old guy, Mark Pavlovich. And I got to tell you, before I let Brian go, not only is he a great college coach, but he's a fantastic educator, which coaches don't get enough love for. Brian Crooks, defensive coordinator, assistant head coach, and I like to say a friend to all of us here on sportsnetusa.net, 90.1 KBPK. To Corey, to Ryan, and from myself, I can't thank you enough for letting us come out here all the time and just chewing on your ear and getting answers.
I appreciate everything you guys do. I love having you guys out here.
Brian Crooks, here on the Coaches Show on 90.1 KBPK.
Thank you, guys.
Welcome back to the Coaches Show, and you've watched an extraordinary 30 minutes of video, television, whatever you want to call it. You were entertained. We out.